Hey y'all, it's late. I'm much later than normal. I'm usually gone by now, but today has been one of those days. I had to make the deposit, then I had to set up for a funeral with the help of Billy and Chris Green, which I'm so thankful for them coming over and helping me. We will be having Kenneth Deed's service here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We will be serving lunch at noon. So if anybody in our church congregation is able to come and help serve the dinner or clean up afterwards, we would greatly appreciate that. We've been in Psalms 37, and I'm obviously not going to get through it this week because I wasn't on yesterday either. I did Fish Club, and then I had an appointment in Stillwater, and I didn't get back in time. So I stopped at verse 13 when it says, "But the Lord just laughs, for he sees their day of judgment is coming." And he's talking about evil people and those that are trying to cause discord and all of the things that they do. "The wicked draw their swords and string their bows to kill the poor and oppressed, to slaughter those who do right. But you will be stabbed through the heart. But they will be stabbed through the heart with their own swords, and their bows will be broken. It is better to be godly and have little, than to be evil and possess much. For the strength of the wicked will be shattered, but the Lord takes care of the godly." It's better to be godly and have little. A lot of times we have a hard time with the little. We always think, well, Lord, I'm doing this for you, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm struggling, and I'm struggling. But sometimes it's because of our own mistakes that we make that cause that struggle. But if we are living for him, and if we are being godly, and we are doing what he's asked us to do, we need to understand we need to be thankful and have gratitude in the little. Because if he can't trust us, the healing that is, taking your last breath on earth in bad shape, body not working at all, and then your first breath in heaven and you're whole. How amazing is that? That to me is I'm just so amazed and a little envious of those that get to go before us, because the things that they're experiencing now, I just can't even imagine, and I can't wait. I'm not rushing it, because I do love being here with my family. I love being with my grandkids. I love watching them play sports. I just love being around them in general. I truly do love watching my grandkids. I don't make everything of theirs, because some days I just have to say I can't. Some days we have to. Some days we have to be obedient to our bodies too, when our bodies are saying, I need you to slow down a little bit, and listen to our bodies. "The wicked borrow and never repay, but the godly are generous givers." That is one of my love languages, is giving to others. I enjoy that so much. I think it's just one of the greatest things that we can do, whether we're giving a gift, a physical gift, or whether we're giving the gift of prayer for someone else, or whatever it may be. That gift is so precious. And when we're giving it from the goodness of our heart, not from, okay, if I give you this, you're going to have to do something for me. If I give you this, there's strings attached. No, it's no strings attached, unconditional, just giving because the Lord has blessed you and you want to bless somebody else. Some days that's very difficult when we think about it. It's difficult to get into that mindset that the Lord has blessed us and we need to bless others. And we were talking today about somebody finding money. If you find money, what do you do with it? Most of us, if we find money, we're going to take it and turn it in or give it back, or if we see somebody drop it, we're going to try and give it back to them, or whatever the case may be. But we were talking about kids, teenagers. They don't have that thought process yet. They find money, put it in their pocket. Not all of them, but some of them. And we were talking about, is that stealing or not? And it's really not stealing, because they found it. So you have to go back and forth with that. We had that come up this week, and that's why we were, Billy, Chris, and I were talking about it. You know, we've each found money, each of us. I'm always looking for coins because Miss Eugene Carter taught me the story of pennies from heaven. So I'm always looking for coins. And when I find a quarter, I'm like, whew, the Lord richly blessed me today because he gave me 25 pennies from heaven. And I always look for money. But sometimes when you find money, you don't want to give it back because we're all struggling in one way or the other. But when you give that back, the reward is even greater. So I don't know why I went on that rabbit trail, but there it was. That was free, you know. But we need to be generous givers. Those blessed by the Lord will inherit the land, but those cursed by him will die. Lord will take care of us, and the Lord will provide for us if we will just follow his plan, his path. Are we going to stay directly on that path that he has for us? No, because we get our eyes off of him sometimes, and we get our eyes on ourselves, and we start to weave this way or we start to weave that way. And so we get off that path, and then sometimes we just have to focus again. Focus. I have to tell my grandkids that sometimes. I'm like, focus on me so I can understand what you're saying. Focus. But we have to focus back on God. We have to focus back on him. We have to get back in his word because we fail sometimes in getting in his word, diving in and finding out what he has for us, because that's where we're going to find our instruction is in this word. His word gives us the instructions on how to live every single moment of every single day if we will pay attention. That's what the Bible is for. He gave those instructions to us throughout the Bible. Old Testament, New Testament. If you read in Acts and you read how they did the things that they did, and you read in Romans, and I believe when I went to the Baptist church, it was called the road to Romans, because there's a lot of scriptures in there that leads you to salvation. So that's what the Bible is for, and that's what he left it for. That's why he was able to make that word so we would have it eternally, so we can live by it, we can grow in it, we can, every time that I can read one verse 100 times, and then that 101st time, I'm like, oh, I get it. I get what he's saying now. I didn't get it all of those other times because I wasn't in the situation that I was in. He brings us the verses that we need when we need them. But we have to get into his word, and we have to understand that we will inherit the land when we live our lives focused on God. Does that mean we're going to be perfect? Absolutely not. We're not going to be perfect. We are far from perfect because we have this fleshly body and we have a free will. I prayed the other day. I was like, God, just take my free will away from me today. Just take it away. I'm just going to hear from you, and I'm just going to do whatever you tell me to do. I don't want to have free will today. I don't want to do that, because sometimes that gets you in trouble. Because they're like, oh, well, that really wasn't God telling me to go talk to that person that had been talking negative about me. That was not God telling me to go over there and do that. No. I have free will. I'm not going to do it. That wasn't God. It was God. And it was what I needed to do. And I was like, just take my free will, Lord. But he doesn't. He gave us that free will for a purpose. So we will choose him daily. We will choose to die to ourselves, and we will choose to live for him. So today I pray that you will find joy in the small things and the little things. I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to take Stella home because I am going to run to Inola, which I've not been to Inola before that I can remember, and watch Kanan play ball. And I'm excited about that. He's a senior this year, and I really don't want to miss it. He does have a ball game in Jay, and I may have to miss that one because that's maybe too far for me to go by myself. So, but get out and enjoy. The weather has been beautiful. It stormed this morning. I woke up at 3:15 here in hail, and I was like, oh goodness. But it was little hail. It wasn't anything horrible. It was about 3:15 to about 4. It stormed pretty good at my house. I don't know about anybody else's house, but it was storming at my house, and I think it's supposed to rain again maybe tomorrow sometime. I don't know. But our little league, our youth football, Oilton's youth football, will be playing Jennings youth football tomorrow. I'm going to miss that. Baylor's birthday is tomorrow. It's going to be a busy, busy weekend. Again, we are having Kenneth Dean's funeral here tomorrow at 2, serving dinner at noon, and just be in prayer for that family. It's always tough when we lose someone, but the hope that we have that we're going to see him again is amazing. And one of the songs that they're having played, I had never heard, so I had Alexa play it for me today. And man, it's What I Know About Heaven by Guy Penrod. Wow, it was powerful, and I was like, I love that. I love it, but I'd never heard it. And so it's that hope that we have, that when somebody that we know is a believer goes on before us, we get to see him again. So I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I will be back on Monday, hopefully, barring no major complications. And I'll try and finish out Psalms 37, or I may just leave it where I left it and we'll pick up and do something different. Can't ever tell about me. I want to thank our social media sponsors, each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for pouring into this ministry and for helping us. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't have the equipment that we have. We couldn't have this little studio sitting right here in our offices if it weren't for you and what you guys do for us. So thank you so much for that, each and every one of you. Dawn and Sheila Ferris, Howard and Janice Clark, Leonard and Debbie Spencer, Gordon and Dee Kennard, Genesis Home Health, Turnbow Trailers, Parco Tax and Services, My Travel Misha, Stacy Reese, the Watkins family, Travis Holloway, and Ted and Alicia Crocker. Thank you guys so very, very much for pouring into our ministry of the church, into Crossroads Community Church. I thank you so, so much for that. Again, you guys have a great weekend. Go out and enjoy football. Go out and enjoy whatever it is you may be doing. I talked to one of the bank tellers today. She was like, we're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go play softball. And I'm like, oh, girl, that's early to go play softball. That's some dedication. But it is that time of the year, and kids are busy. And I think it's every time of the year, though. I think our kids are always busy nowadays. So have a great weekend. I hope to see you guys back here on Monday. If you could, please share this on your page. That's the only way that we can get the word out. Thank you all for watching. Have a great, great weekend. See you Monday.